Good evening, everybody. Dave Cottam here. Okay, so today what we're going to be talking about is creating a winning attitude, creating winning habits, and really getting yourself into the situation where you're actually making success the priority in your life, where you're taking the action needed in order to start growing in whatever area it is you're looking to do, whether you're looking to grow your business, whether you're looking to make some gains personally, whatever it is you've got planned. What we want to really do is start to create those winning habits to move you towards success in your life. Something we talk about all the time, is taking action. The thing that's lacking for a lot of people is the action that we're taking. But the question is, why are you not taking that action? That's the thing that kind of evades a lot of people. It's the thing that stops a lot of people really knowing how to move forward. People can't really identify what it is that's holding them back. So what I want to do is help start to move past that tonight. To really put some steps in place that will allow you to move forward, that will allow you to make a plan. And most importantly, what we want to do is create that habit of winning. Because all too often I think it's quite easy for us to fall into the habits of not actually knowing how to win, to allowing the excuses, to allow the failures, to allow the things in our life that we really want to change. We quite commonly, people allow those to be such a prominent force in their life, and it's as if they can't do anything about it. Like, I can't do anything about this. This is just the way I am. If that's the way you are, say that's me. If you're one of those people that all of these things, the habits in your life, the family, things with work, money, financial situation, all of these things that are holding you back. If that's you, that you're one of those people who currently have all of these things that hold you back, just say that's me, because you're not alone. This is something that's so common for so many people. And the big thing that we really work on within our business with the coaching clients that we have is really just trying to help people to look and figure out, no matter what the environment is around you, how is it that you manage to take those steps to move forward? Because commonly a lot of these things around us they're environmental. The things that are happening around us, quite commonly, it can be quite difficult to change them. So what we've got to do is figure out a way that no matter what it is that's going on around you, you can make that progress. Okay, Jim Rohn, who's probably my favourite mentor, he says that it's all about the setting of your sail. If you think of a boat analogy, I won't go into the full story, but a boat analogy, if you're in a boat, you can't control which way the wind is blowing. All you can do is change the set of your sail. To give yourself that guidance, to make sure that you can go in the direction you want, no matter what it is that's happening. And you may not get there as fast as you want. You may have to zigzag a little bit. You may have to, to not quite go in exactly the straight direction, because there may be some things that you've got to change. But the key thing is that we find a way to move forward. And that's all about setting your sail. So a few of you are saying, yes, that's me. Caroline says that's her. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Tyler. Hey, Keisha. So guys, as you're coming on, do just let me know. Say hello if you're watching. Do say hello. If you're watching the replay, please do just type replay. Let me know you're watching the replay. It's really good for me to know who's on here. So this is it, guys. What we want to start doing is creating those winning attitudes. So first thing I want to talk about tonight is one of the big topics that I take a lot of sort of attention in trying to remove this from people's lives, okay? And it's the word overwhelm. Okay, overwhelm. Who suffers with overwhelm? Just, if that's you, just type it in the box, overwhelm. Let me know that that's you if you're a person who suffers with this. Too much going on. Okay, you've got stuff going on everywhere. You've got a to-do list as long as your arm. You need 10 days fitted into your week. You need 30 hours a day, whatever it be. There's always too much to do at the end of the week, always too much to do at the end of the month. Is that you? If that's you, type overwhelm in. Let me know if it's you, that you're one of those people who suffer with this. So for me, I really want to try and eradicate this from our language, the word overwhelm. Reason being is that overwhelm is literally the decision by yourself to think that you've got to try and do everything. Okay, think of that. overwhelm, it's you thinking that you have to do everything. You know, for those of you there that are saying, yes, that's me, overwhelmed, does that make sense? The reason that we feel overwhelmed is because we're trying to do too much. We're trying to take too much on. You know, there's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much of you to go around. It's really important with the case of overwhelm to start to look and realise that it literally is it's a choice by yourself to think, I've got to do all of this stuff. And quite commonly, the things that a lot of the stuff we're trying to fit in aren't actually that important. And we could probably get rid of a lot of them. You know, so really important to allow you to start creating some winning habits, to allow you to start to move forward. We've got to try and get rid of that overwhelm. Because what does overwhelm do? Overwhelm gives you that feeling here, right? It's like you've got that tight feeling in your stomach. You feel like you're flapping around, you've got anxiety, you know, you think about all the stuff that you've got to do, and your brain's just like, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got this to-do list as long as my arm, but as well as this, I've got this to-do list here, and I've got post-its everywhere, and I've got to remember what's going on in my email, and you know, I've got this to do for my husband, I've got that to do for the kids, you know, and there's just 1,000 things going on in your mind all at once. Now, what we got to do is try and get rid of that. You know, a few people here saying overwhelmed. Leah says she's got overwhelmed. Tyler says feels like it all the time. Yep, so if that's you, just like I say, that's me. Okay, so what we've got to do is start to clear our decks a little bit and realise there's only so much that we can do. It's really important. And we'll get to how we do that in a minute, but I really want you to start just bringing that into your mind, the overwhelm literally is the decision by yourself to feel like you've got to do everything. And the key thing is, you know, right from the offset, give yourself a break and know that you can't. You know, because what happens is in the thought of trying to do everything, we end up doing nothing because you kind of sit there and look at it all and go, well, where do I start? You know, is that what happens to you if you're one of them people that says, like, I don't know where to start? Just punch that in. You know, I don't know where to start, because that's what happens. Because there's too much. You know, it's like, you know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You know, and what we've got to do is put ourselves in the position where you can do that. You know, because what does overwhelm lead to? It leads to avoidance. You know, so that's the second thing I want to talk about is avoidance. So, you know, we've got avoidance in a couple of different senses. One when you literally just don't know what to do. And the other way you're looking at it and avoiding things. You know, it's really important to also be able to identify, am I just avoiding this? Again, you know, we speak a lot about fear and avoidance because of fear and you know, fear of failure, you know, fear of ridicule, whatever it might be. You know, there's a lot of that stuff there, and if you're feeling like you're procrastinating, if you're avoiding something, and you normally know when you're avoiding something because, again, it's that feeling, your body talks to you all the time, right? If you feel like you're avoiding something because you know there's something that you need to do, there's something that's probably really important to you, you've identified you need to do it, but every time you think about it, it's like your stomach gets a little bit knotty and you go, oh, I know, I'll just do this first. I'll just go and I'll do this little task first. You know, that's how you're going to identify that you're avoiding it, because you literally, every time you go to start, you're going to do something else. Okay, now really important to identify when it is that you're doing that. You know, because that procrastination and doing little jobs, tidying your desk, cleaning the house, sorting this out, sorting the washing out, whatever it be, all of those things is classic avoidance. And these two things right up top are things that we've got to get a handle of, and we've at least got to identify that they're there. Who does that? Who avoids stuff? Yeah, guys, just type in here if you're one of those people that avoid stuff. Just type in it, avoidance. Let me see who the avoiders are. Probably the same people who had overwhelm a minute ago. You know, we've got to identify these things, because until we're, you know, awareness precedes change. You know, until we're aware of it, we can't change it. And really important, once you actually start to be aware of these things, you can start to look and figure out how often it is that you're doing it. Because what happens with our habits, they become really ingrained into us. And when you have something that's important that you have those avoidance tactics with, you may not even realise that you're doing it, because it's like a little tape that plays, a little process that plays in our mind that something comes up and you want to, something important happens, and it's like the important task, packet comes in. You get a little envelope that's got your instruction to your mind. I've got to do this, and this is important. And when it comes in, it hits our body's filter, our avoidance filter kicks in, and it plays the little program of go and do something else. I'll do that after I've had a brew. I'll do that after I've done this. I'll do that after I've, I'll just go and tidy the washing first. I'll just do this little job first. All of these things that you do, and it's just like, what can I do apart instead of doing this thing? It's like the elephant in the room, right? You've got to address it. So yeah, Caroline's saying there, fear of being noticed. She's got fear of people seeing her. Yeah, what if you try and do something? Will people see that you're doing something, and maybe will they laugh at you? Will you not do it? All this stuff. Hey Caroline, good to see you. Hey Kylie. So what I want to do, identify these things, and I really want everyone to start taking note of this over the next week or so. When do you have that feeling in your stomach? Whether it be overwhelm and it's the butterflies, or it's the avoidance, and you're like, oh, I've got to do this, but actually just going to do that for a minute. Start to identify these things. If you need to, write it down. From an overwhelm point of view, we'll cover that in a second as to how to start, clearing that. But the simple thing with overwhelm is we've just got to identify the things that are most important and just do them, and avoid not avoid, but shelve the others. So we'll get onto that in a second. So guys, if you're coming on, please do say hi. Hi Dave, flick me a like if you're watching the replay. Just type replay, let me know you've watched it, and if you think anyone needs to see this, tag them in, or hit your screen, hit the share button. I'd really appreciate that. Would be fantastic. So what we're going to move into is the big bit, taking action. Okay, now the problem with all of this stuff, with most people's progression towards their goals, it literally comes down to the action that they're taking. Now, it literally is the fact that people do a lot of talking about what they want, but not a lot of doing. Look at yourself and ask, do you think you're a talker or a doer? And the problem is that a lot of people feel that because they've been talking about what they want for a while, they kind of count that as if the duration of how long you're talking about something kind of counts with regards to the effort that you're putting in. And this is especially, obviously, we deal with a lot of people in business, but with absolutely anything. If you've wanted to lose weight for a long time, it's one thing to feel like you've wanted it and to go, oh God, I've been trying for ages. But in reality, if it takes 10,000 hours to master anything, have you been working towards your 10,000 hours? We've got a challenge on within our team, the 10,000 squat challenge, which is just saying, look, if you get into the process of doing 10,000 squats, squats are amazing for all of your body, but the process of doing it and counting it will take you towards that success. So for health, are you really trying and making sure that you're looking at your meals, and you're preparing, and you're exercising, and you're drinking your water, and you're cutting down the toxins in your life, maybe drinking a bit less alcohol? Have you been thinking about doing it or actually doing it? Because quite commonly I hear a lot of people that they've been talking about stuff and occasionally dipping in and out, but not really doing that much actually doing of the activity. Same with the business. Probably most people that we work with struggle with their businesses. And a lot of people, they feel the drain of being in their business for a long time, and they kind of feel like it's taking them forever to make any progress. For one, businesses do take a long time. For any business, and anyone in any business would say to you, you're looking at 2, 3, 5 years before you ever get any real success. Most people that we deal with have been doing it for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, maximum a year-ish, sometimes, and they're already frustrated, and it's like, you just need longer. But the key to this is that within that duration of time, how much action have you actually taken? So again, really important to look at how much activity you're doing. towards your goals, towards your dreams. You know, if it's your business, if it's your health, how much action are you taking in that time? Because it's the activity part that brings the results, not the talking part. You know, so really what we want to do is start moving into creating some momentum. And how we do that is by starting with small wins. And we turn the small wins into big wins. Okay, now this is super important, especially talking about, you know, a lot of people who suffer with that overwhelm, or they suffer with avoidance. You know, but quite a lot of people, if you've got a to-do list, you know, people will avoid the big thing that actually adds value to their life, and they've got a list of jobs that they've got to do around the house. They've got to put a shelf up, they've got to mow the lawn, they've got to, you know, tidy this thing up, they've got to do some banking, they've got to submit something on a website, and they'll go, oh, I'll leave that for now and I'll do all these because they're really easy. So the key of what we want to do is actually take your big goal and just make it into really, really small steps. You know, and that way you can have your little to-do list that's actually related to your big goal. You know, how do you create that to-do list in order to ensure that every single day you're making progress? And the great thing about when you're taking action is that you build momentum. So one win leads to another win. You know, one task leads to the next task. You knock off a couple of tasks and you start to build a bit of momentum. Like, you can look and go, in a day when you start hitting your to-do list, how much you can do in a day. And you can look back and go, wow, look at how much I've done. And usually it'll be stuff that isn't really that important, bits of jobs. But if you look at your big goals and what you've got to get achieved, you know, what we can do is break this down into chunks. Now, from a health point of view, when we work with my coaching clients, quite often we break this down into blocks, into days. You know, like with the 10,000 squat challenge. You know, not literally 10,000 boxes, but you know, you might have a sheet of paper with a thousand squares on it and check them off. You know, for your health goals, you know, it might be, are you doing your 10,000 steps a day? Are you drinking 3 litres of water every day? And have a box of 100 days, for instance. You know, 3 litres of water every single day, and when you do it and you've drunk your 3 litres, scribble it in green. When you've not, scribble it in red, and give yourself a visual reminder, and you can see those wins mounting up. You know, and the great thing about having that visual reminder and a visual way of tracking is that you hold yourself accountable, but 2, you can see your wins. You know, you can go, yep, I've done that, yep, I've done that, and as you start to get more green than red on your chart, you're becoming it's a winning habit. And you start to associate yourself as a winner. And those characteristics, you start to less so much think, I'm trying to be healthy, or I'm trying to have good habits, and you become the person who just says, you know, I am the person who is healthy. I am a person who drinks 3 litres of water a day. I am a person who does my 10,000 steps. I am a person who, you know, if it's for your business, who makes 10 outbound phone calls. I am the person who does Facebook ads. I am the person who speaks to people in groups. And what you do is it goes from being a goal to being just who you are. And the great thing is, when you've broken it down into small steps, you've got a visual proof of that is just who I am. I'm the person that does this, and I'm winning. And like with anything, as you start to build some momentum, you'll do it more and more, and it will become second nature. You know, and that's where what you can do is you can then bring more things on. You know, because it doesn't take the same brain effort to repeat this task that you've been doing every day. You know, it just becomes part of your habit. It doesn't take the same emotional involvement when it's something that you're just good at doing. You know, getting up in the morning and doing something positive with your day is a big one. Now, when you get up and you do something positive every single morning, even before the day's begun, you can have done a whole heap of stuff. You know, get up, do some reading, go and do some exercise. You know, maybe work on your business if you've got a side hustle. Like I can virtually have a day done before I even start work if I really apply myself. You know, and anybody can do that, especially if you've got a job still. after work is like the danger zone because most people don't want to be productive after work. So really knocking off as much as you can in the morning is such a fantastic thing, and setting yourself that time and becoming a person who does all the things that they want for their life in the morning. It is such a powerful way, and it's a tool that I think is probably one of the most common from all the people I know who have success in whatever area they are, is getting and doing all of that good stuff in the morning before work. Because after work, let's face it, who can be bothered? And most people want to come home and crash, and that's a tough habit to get out of. If you're, for instance, if you're the person who's trying to be proactive and move forward in your life, quite commonly, your kids or your partner or whatever might not be that way. So a good way of avoiding that conflict of, it's nighttime, I want to sit down and watch the couch and I want you to socialise with me and sit with me. If you've gone and done all your good stuff in the morning, it doesn't really matter if that's the case in the afternoon, and I know that's really common. So creating that momentum is really, really important. And if it's one thing, the day-to-day habits, the other is actually breaking down everything that you need to do. If you actually need to make a plan, then it's really important to take that big goal and break it down as small as you can. Like when I do these talks, I break down all the key points that I want to talk about, and then if I need to, I break them further. And we could build out any talk that I could give a heading to. We could build it out to a 2-day event, no problems. And all we do is just keep adding fine levels of detail. So for yourself, whatever project it is that you've got, how do you break that down into stages? How do you break all those stages into individual tasks? And if you can, break them down to tasks that will take you 20 minutes, half an hour. If you're one of those people that you just need things you can knock off, and you complete a job, it gives you that little endorphin hit, you feel good, and then you move on to the next one. How can you break out whatever it is you want to achieve, anything, into whatever block size that you can motivate yourself or have the time to do? If you know something's going to take you 6 hours and you never get that time, you've got to break it down. Because otherwise it will never happen, because you'll never have that 6 hours to yourself. And that's common for most people. So you go, right, how do I make this 6 hours into, however many lots of 20 minutes that I need? What would that be? 18 lots of 20 minutes, How do I break that down so that I can go in and knock these off? It's really important to build that plan, because those small wins, as you start making those small wins, you will build some momentum. Carolyn said, asking the right questions is so important. And Carolyn just said there about having a stick chart. So representing your wins and whatever you want to achieve in a graphical table, it's really important. It is good because it allows you to track and keep yourself accountable. If you're not knocking some of your tasks off, you can keep yourself accountable. If you've got days where you want to do something like go to the gym, drink water, eat a certain way, or make sure you go for a walk, or you want to make 10 calls for your business, make sure you do a Facebook Live, any of that stuff, you can visually see it. It's really important to do that, guys, and ensure that you've got something to track yourself. And once you've got that, once you create your plan, make sure you knock them off. Make sure you create a little bit of time. Giving yourself a time block is super important. Because what we don't do quite commonly is allot ourselves the time in order to attack our goals. Giving yourself the time is so important, and you don't necessarily need large chunks of time, but it's about being realistic and based on the plan that you've created, based on the time that you've allotted yourself. How much time do you need? And then carve that out. Don't leave it to chance. Success in life is about choice, not chance, and you've got to make the choice to make that time available. So this is the importance of creating those blocks and creating them into small tasks so that you know exactly how much time that you need so you can carve it out. And if you've got kids, if you've got a family, to go look at half an hour a day or 20 minutes a day or half an hour, however many times a week, to carve out that time so that you can make action. Because otherwise, again, it just gets left. It gets left to chance. And quite commonly for most people, when it's left to chance, it isn't going to happen. And it's really important to make the plan, set out your time block, as however small it be, and literally just give yourself a little bit of time every day, because even small wins every day are moving you forward. Now, something that's also very pretty powerful for a lot of people, I'd say you've got to try and clear that to-do list. You know, have a look, go and find your to-do list. If you've got 5 of them, bring them together and figure out on that to-do list what stuff actually needs doing and what stuff can be left. Because a really big thing, wheeling back to overwhelm, back at the start when we spoke about overwhelm, what you've got to do is clear as much of the decks as possible. And really important, go to your to-do list and figure out what actually needs doing and what really doesn't need doing. And the stuff that doesn't need doing, get it in a list, file it away so you don't forget that you've got to do those things at some point. And then the stuff that needs doing, get it knocked off, get it cleared away. You know, get your decks clear so that you can focus. But do it in one hit. You know, carve some time aside and blast all of your jobs off that you need to do so that you can have a good run. Really important this, because because so many people suffer with overwhelm. You know, it's really good to clear those stuff off, but like I say, you've got to find the important stuff. You know, anything that's like not really important, if it isn't life-threatening, if it doesn't help you, you know, towards your big goals, you know, literally just leave it, shelve it, put it away for a later time. Well, guys, if this is helpful, you know, flick a little comment, say, yeah, this is great, or, you know, just give me a wave, say hello. If you're coming on watching the replay, do just hit, you know, type in, say replay, let me know that you're watching. And again, if you've got someone that you think needs to see this, tag them in, comment. Or again, if you watch these regularly, please do just tap your screen, hit the share button. I'd really appreciate that. So just kind of like to the last bits, guys. You know, there's 2 things I really want to cover, and one of them is about value-added activity. Now, we've kind of covered this a little bit already, talking about having your plan, talking about breaking it down, having your time block. But what I really want you to start to do is to look at everything that you're doing. Maybe keep a little diary of what you've done every day. And for the next week or the next month, really be mindful of what is your value-added activity. You know, and see in the times where you've got some time to yourself, and you could be working, or you could be exercising, or you could be studying, whatever it be, how much value-added activity are you doing in that time? How much of it is actually being 100% focused, laser focused on your goals? You know, because there's one thing that I will absolutely tell you for sure. If you sit down at your desk and you're trying to work and it's like, oh, I check my emails and then I'll look at Facebook and I'll, you know, oh, look, there's a cat picture or whatever it be, you know, that is, you're wasting your time. You know, what you've got to do is absolutely laser focus for a period of time and let nothing else get in your way. You know, distractions will make you like 20% as productive as you could be, because every time you think about something else, it takes you a minute to get back into your thought process. So important to ensure that you lock off that time and you start to track your value-added process. You know, when you sit down to do your work, how much work are you actually doing? And take a note of that. Even if you do it, if you've got 20 minutes and you write a little block of everything that you've done, perfect. If you go to the gym, how much are you messing about with your phone versus how much are you working out? If you go for a run, you know, how hard are you running? Are you running at 20% of what you really could do, or are you really pushing yourself? You know, if you're looking at your business, if you've got 20 minutes to make phone calls, are you making those phone calls? Or are you messing about, sorting out your list and doing this and doing that? Oh, well, 15 minutes has gone, I'll make 2 calls. You know, we've got to get into the habit of going, I'm ready to go. You know, have yourself sorted, have your list sorted, however it is you're going to do, and make those phone calls if that's what it is with your business. You know, if you're creating posts, if you've got a scheduled post for the next week, sit down and knock them off. Get it done, you know. Really important to take the most out of every single minute when you're trying to get value activity done, because it's like a compound effect. You know, every single little bit, every minute that you lose, one, it becomes a habit, and you get into being one of those people that just doesn't do very much. You know, actually driving home value-added activity is a habit. But two, the thing is every minute that you lose, it compounds. So then it's 2 minutes, then it's 3 minutes, then it's 4 minutes. Over the course of a week, you've lost a couple of hours worth of time. Over the course of a lifetime, you've lost years worth of time. And all those small bits, it's amazing with that extra little bit that you could get done. Especially with, like, say, making phone calls. If you've got to make sales calls, when you want to stop, always make one more call. How often that last call has been so valuable for me in my business. But always just, can I do one more? Can I do one more rep? Can I run one more minute? Can I push one bit more? Because that's the habit of champions, just trying to get that extra little bit out. Yep. And I'm just going to finish on talking about the result planning belief action loop. So just to totally peg this in your mind, a lot of people want results. You want something good in your life, and too much people spend too much time planning. They spend too much time planning out what they want to do. And they never get into action. But the key thing is, for a lot of time, people need belief in order to get into action, and they think that the planning will give them that belief to then allow them to move into the action phase, which gives them the results. It's like a circle. But the thing is, you need to have belief in yourself. You need to have belief in your business. If you're working with business, you have to have a belief in your mentors. If you're working with mentors, you need to have belief in your company if you want to help your company move forward. There's a belief in yourself that you can be a better person. But the thing that drives all of this is action. Action solves all problems. So even if you don't really know what to do and your belief is waning a little bit, if you just do something, you might get some results. If you plan a little bit, that's great. If you've got a little bit of a plan, that might give you a bit of extra belief. With a bit of extra belief, you get a bit of action. With action, you get some results. And the key thing is, it's like a self-perpetuating wheel. Because every time you cycle round, you ramp up with speed, with belief. The best laid plans start to come together, and you're taking massive action. But the key to it all is taking the action in the first place. And I would say, even if you don't necessarily know what you're going to do or how you're going to do it, just do something. Do anything. Because at least if you're moving forward, even if you don't know what you're doing, if you go in the gym and you don't know what you're doing, it's better than not being in the gym. If you make one phone call, even if you're not very good, you've made a phone call and you can get better. If you post some stuff on Facebook, it may not reach a lot of people, but at least you've done it. And taking that action and learning as you go. Really try and just be the best that you can be right now, and not waiting and avoiding it until you're better, because you never get better. You get better by doing. Courage comes before confidence, and confidence comes before competence. So, so just get out there, take that action. And really try to be all that you can be. So that's it for me today, guys. I'm done here. Have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. As always, if you've liked this, please do share it. And please do comment. Please do tag anyone in. And I'll see you all later. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.